Let's talk about how to lose weight with OMAD. For the uninitiated, OMAD stands for 1 meal a day. I lost 80 pounds with intermittent fasting, but the last 50 of that was purely with OMAD. Once I found OMAD, I fell in love with it. I've always been the type of person who has loved big portions, and the standard dieting advice of eating several small meals throughout the day always left me feeling really hungry and, quite frankly, gaining weight. Now, you might be thinking, 1 meal a day, that sounds overly simple. And you might be thinking there's a lot more to it than that. And really, there's not. It really is as simple as it sounds. You just eat 1 meal a day. Now, you might be wondering, well, okay, yeah, you're eating 1 meal a day, but what are you actually eating? That's probably where it gets complicated, right? But actually, that's the best part of OMAD, is that you can eat whatever you want at the meal. I was born and raised a Southerner, and my husband has Italian heritage. Both of those cultures love to eat, and so do I. I have absolutely no forbidden foods. I eat things like country fried steak, gravy, mashed potatoes, biscuits, fried chicken, steaks, lasagna, pasta, and garlic bread, and chocolate and wine. And that was the really cool thing about OMAD, was that I could eat all of these foods and feel really nice and full and still lose weight. Now, you might be wondering, but how do you actually get to that point where you're eating 1 meal a day? And there are 2 basic methods that people use to do this. The first one is that some people just try to jump to OMAD, and this works for some people. The real danger of just jumping to OMAD is that it may feel really difficult because it's so different than what you're used to practicing. And when something feels difficult, then it's hard to know that, eventually you would just get used to it and it would feel easier. It's really just kind of a mental game. Or you can do it like I did it, which was go really gradually. I started out by having a really short fasting window and then just pushing my breakfast a little bit later and a little bit later until eventually I wasn't eating breakfast, I was just eating lunch. And then eventually I was eating a late lunch. And then eventually I got to the point where I was just eating supper. Once you start practicing OMAD on a consistent basis, you should start to see some weight loss happening. The idea is you want to find the sweet spot. So what is the sweet spot and how do you find it? So the sweet spot is that point at which you are able to eat plenty of food, you're feeling really good, and the scale is moving down. The thing is, you won't know at first how much food you're going to need in order to find the sweet spot. Sometimes you're going to overshoot. You're just going to eat too much food. You're going to be overly full at the end of the meal. And also what's going to happen is maybe you're nice and full for the rest of that day and the next, but the scale isn't moving down. And then at other times, you may not be eating quite enough. You might feel kind of weak the next day. You feel really hungry and maybe the scale's moving down, but you're miserable. But if you keep at it, you'll eventually find that point where you eat just the right amount of food. And when you stand up from the table, you feel nice and full. You are able to sleep really well at night. The next day you have really good energy and the scale just keeps moving down. Now, of course, when you're finding the sweet spot, it's going to be important to be weighing yourself consistently so that you can see if you are having results or not. I found it really helpful to average my weights and look at my 7-day average over several weeks of time in order to know that I was losing weight successfully. I have a whole video about that and I'm going to link to it up above. So if you've always struggled to lose weight because you really like big portions, you might find that OMAD is just what you're looking for. I found that it made weight loss really enjoyable and I continue to enjoy practicing it in maintenance. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. I want to take a moment to thank all you insiders out there who have joined this channel. Insiders get access to my vlog where I talk about what's going on in my life, what kind of foods I'm eating, and any experiments that I'm trying. And I'm active in the comments section with members. If you'd like to become an insider, be sure to click the join button below. Thanks.